Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome back, everyone, to today's explainer of episode 20, Optimal Coherency. I am absolutely thrilled to guide you through today's source material because we are exploring a massive paradigm shift, one that takes something incredibly profound and turns it into highly specific, actionable mechanics. We're going to be looking at the transition from incoherency to optimal coherency. We'll cover what that actually means, why it matters so much, and how it literally shapes your moment-to-moment existence. Here is the roadmap for our journey together today. First, 1, the meaning of life. Then, 2, light bulb versus laser. Next up, 3, the frozen conflict trap, followed by 4, the restructured mind, and finally, 5, achieving optimal coherency. Let's get right into it. All right, section 1, the meaning of life, the ultimate question. So, what is the meaning of life? I mean, we've all asked it, right? And historically, we tend to answer it with concepts like, love, happiness, achieving our goals, or just basic survival. But the source material we are exploring today makes a really fascinating argument. It argues that while those answers aren't exactly wrong, they are simply surface-level expressions of a much deeper, purely mechanical truth. And here is that truth. The meaning of life is the movement toward optimal coherency. This completely shifts our paradigm, guys. We're stepping away from these vague, abstract ideas of happiness and stepping right into a highly specific reality. Basically, every system, every single value in existence is seeking coherency simply because incoherency hurts. Think about it. When you're freezing cold, you seek warmth. When you're totally confused, you crave clarity. That isn't just random human behavior. That is the mechanical movement toward coherency. Which brings us to section 2, light bulb versus the laser, the power of coherency. And this brilliantly illustrates the whole concept. Take a look at this comparison here. Over on the left, we've got a standard 5-watt light bulb. It's just scattering its energy in all directions, right? It's chaotic, unfocused. If you shine a 5-watt bulb on your arm, you barely even know it's there. It is just static, it is white noise. It represents a total lack of agency. But check out the right side, a 5-watt laser. It takes that exact same amount of energy and focuses it into a single, perfectly coherent beam. A beam so precise and intense it could literally burn a hole right through you. So the difference between the two isn't the amount of power. The difference is coherency. A coherent system is incredibly stable, harmonious, and clear. An incoherent one, it's painful, confusing, and honestly just weak. And let's be real, right now, a lot of us are operating exactly like that scattered light bulb. We are burning a ton of energy, but our internal processing power is discordant and we're lacking true agency. So the goal, as you can beautifully see in this visual from our source material, is to take a journey inward. We want to align our internal state so we can actually become that optimally coherent laser, locking in on focused intent and a really profound sense of harmonic stability. Moving on to section 3, the frozen conflict trap, the hidden mechanism. Now, to understand why we get trapped in the first place, we have to look at the raw psychological code that's running our everyday behavior. The source defines this code as a postulate. Think of a postulate as the most foundational, microscopic unit of intention. It's basically a conditional rule, kind of like coding logic. If A, then B. It's the structural boundary we set up to interact with the world around us, and we absolutely need these rules to navigate our daily lives. But the whole thing goes sideways when these rules start clashing. Here's what happens. When you run two postulates that are in total direct opposition, say, for example, a part of you says, I must speak up, but another part is screaming, I must stay hidden, and they're both running at full intensity, they freeze. They create what the source calls a frozen conflict. And this trap has 4 very distinct characteristics. First up, identification, where these total opposites just collapse into each other. Second, motionlessness, meaning absolutely no progress can be made in either direction. Third is timelessness. The structure just gets stuck, it doesn't age or evolve. And fourth, and this is absolutely crucial, mass. This freeze is not just some neat metaphor. The source states that psychological baggage is literal physical weight. You actually perceive this frozen structure as real solidity and mass right inside your own body. All right, section 4, the restructured mind, protocols for release. So the crucial point is how we actually fix this, right? Well, because physical mass and frozen postulate conflict are the exact same phenomenon, your own body literally acts as a map of your frozen psychology. The source calls this the body as map protocol. Here is how you do it. Step 1. Locate the holding. Figure out where your body feels chronically tight, numb, or heavy. Step 2, decode the configuration. For instance, tightness usually points to a must-know or a controlling postulate, while numbness usually points to a must-not-be-known or withdrawal postulate. Okay, step 3 is finding the hidden exclusion anchor. That's the hidden internal claim that's actually maintaining all that physical tension. And finally, step 4, identify the complementary postulate. This is where the magic happens. By generating the exact complementary postulate, like matching a push with a pull or a hold with a release at the exact same intensity, you satisfy that original broken rule and the physical holding literally releases. It just lets go. Which brings us to our final stop, section 5. Achieving optimal coherency. You see, the ultimate goal of the universe's self-updating program isn't just basic survival, it's optimal coherency. The source defines this as harmonic stability with both your inner state and your external environment. When your energy is finally no longer being wasted in some exhausting frozen conflict, when your postulates are completely aligned, this cold scientific-sounding term actually translates in human experiential terms to pure heaven. It is quite literally the ultimate freedom from psychological and physical gridlock. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the direct contrast. Look at the real, practical differences between an incoherent life and a fully upgraded, coherent one. Before this upgrade, your body is just holding on to all this tension. But after, it's totally released. Your mind transforms from being trapped in endless double binds to being fully, vibrantly aware. Even the way you speak changes. You go from using frozen, tired cliches to speaking in a living code that actually writes reality with precision. The whole shebang just becomes incredibly harmonious. Because, as our source material beautifully illustrates here, existence is a self-updating iterational calculation. We are not just living on some dead rock in a mechanical clockwork universe. We live inside a living universe. And by taking the time to resolve these inner conflicts and achieve that optimal coherency, every single step we take inward is actually a return to a state of pure presence. If you are ready to dive deeper into these mechanics, unlearn those old cognitive biases, and actually apply these specific codes to your own life, you absolutely need to check out the primary source for today's explainer. It's called the White Book, Meaning Unconfounded, the complete unified edition. You can explore all of these incredible resources and really master the Restructured Mind protocols by visiting the URL you see right on the screen here, meaning-unconfounded.github.io. So I'll leave you with this final thought. You now know the mechanics of the trap, and you have the protocols for the release. The universe is literally waiting for your local processing unit to upgrade. Will you remain a scattered, discordant 5-watt bulb, just carrying around the exhausting physical weight of frozen conflicts? Or will you do the work, align those internal postulates, and become the laser? The choice and the agency is entirely yours. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.